Mariano Rivera, Trevor Hoffman, and Jon Sumrall. Three of the best closers you'll ever see. Eric Singleton, you are a Florida Gator.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to a glorious episode of Locked On Gators, where we have just landed a commitment from wide receiver Eric Singleton. The Florida Gators are, simply put, not messing around anymore. You've never seen dominance like this for the Florida Gators in the transfer portal. They're going off. They're doing everything they can to make this team elite. And now they've got Eric Singleton Jr. It's Florida Gator. Jon Sumrall, big stepper. Simply put, I am Brandon Olsen, your host of Locked On Gators, lifelong Florida Gators fan, and my God, does this feel good to finally be back. Finally have a big stepper as the head coach at the University of Florida once again. No more playing around, no more messing around, no more about it's a process that's going to take multiple years, no more of this, we're real close to being dangerous. Nope. Winners win. I'm a winner. We're going to win. The Florida Gators got Eric Singleton out of the transfer portal, which is interesting because he declared for the NFL draft. He got a decent grade. Would have been drafted relatively early, right? And yet he made a certain decision to come here to the University of Florida and try to be like Jon Sumrall, right? Step. That's it. Step. It's ridiculous that at the University of Florida, first off, it's ridiculous that we're 2 minutes and 40 seconds into this thing and we got 150 people in here live. You know why we have that? Because Jon Sumrall said, transfer portal's open. Belt. Simply put, I'm not going to snap the belt because it's late here. You guys know how the time difference is. It's late here. I'm not going to snap the belt. But Jon Sumrall with the belt. Here we go, Josh. I'm glad you said it. I posted it on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. Gator don't play no. Gator ain't never been about no. That's it. Big John stepping. You know, WWE in the 1970s, 80s, I don't know how long ago it was, had Big John Stud. We got Big John Stepper here in Gainesville, right? We got NCAA young boy here in Gainesville. Jon Sumrall has landed Eric Singleton. Buster Faulkner has landed Eric Singleton. Trent McKnight has landed Eric Singleton. Marcus Davis has landed Eric Singleton. And most important, the Florida Gators have landed Eric Singleton. He is here. And he is back with Buster Faulkner, who was his offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech. The last time that Eric Singleton had an even competent offensive coordinator was with Buster Faulkner at Georgia Tech. And now you had a bunch of talented young receivers in the room. And they were looking around and they were like, hey, I just need someone that is proven and productive and can shoulder the load a bit. And Jon Sumrall said, don't worry, baby birds. I'll feed you. Here we go. Eric Singleton. This is, I cannot overstate this enough. This is the elite of the elite that you're going to get at receiver in the transfer portal. This is a guy who genuinely could have gone to the NFL, been a day 2 draft pick, and said, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to go to Gainesville. I'm going to go with my OC from Georgia Tech. And we're going to take a little trip across the country and just go belt, belt, belt. That's it. The Florida Gators now have one of the most dynamic receiver rooms in the country. I'm not going to say one of the most talented because I think that's a lot. But I'm going to say one of the most dynamic. Okay. Because that's what they are. Why do they have a question mark in them? It's a question mark with an exclamation point. It's to emphasize the excitement and the shock of the ad. So that's what it was. But oh my goodness, the Florida Gators. I'll tell you what, this is some wild stuff going on in Gainesville right now. We have never seen a transfer portal ass whooping to the extent that we are seeing in Gainesville right now. That's it. I'm recording from England. I was gonna say I'm not recording them live, but it's also recording. So like I guess it's the same. No, sorry, not to emphasize that it's not a sure thing. Eric Singleton is signed. He is committed. He is signed to the Florida Gators. It's just to emphasize the shock of the ad. So apology if there's any confusion there. But no, yeah, it's to emphasize the shock of the ad there. Because it's just insane. It's just insane that the Florida Gators are just stepping right now. Like that's it. I don't know a better way to describe it other than stepping. That's it. That's it. You know that video? Is it a Spice Adams video when he's popping out of the I forgot what car it is, but he's got the foot high up in the air and he's got the little suit on. He comes stepping out and he's walk. That's Big Johnny over here. That's Big Johnny over here. He's not playing with anybody anymore. He's not. It's over. Jon Sumrall is here. Winners win. He's a winner. We're gonna win. I mean, it's just incredible to watch what competence in the portal can look like in Gainesville. And also, I'm going to say this. I have been through the almost 5 years that I've been doing this show. I have been extremely critical of even our boosters before. I've been like, hey, like at a certain point with some of the Billy stuff, you guys accept being losers. Not anymore. So we're going to give a round of applause to the boosters. They deserve it. Because it's a simple. They deserve it, right? Again, like if we're going to be critical when you're failing, we're going to give you praise when you're succeeding. And I mean, I don't know how else to express that the Florida Gators are succeeding right now, right? Boosters putting money on the floor right now. I knew you would go live first, and that's why I put you. You know what's crazy, Josh? What's that last name? Josh Bongiorno. That's why I F with you too. That's it. Simple as that. We're steppers here. That's it. Like the Florida Gators. I said it the other day, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's fair. Some people say that the Florida Gators may be back, and you could drop the may because we're back. Like, I'm not a we're back guy. I'm really not. I'm not a we're back guy. But I don't know, man. Everything that we're seeing right now is telling me that we're back. And I'm not saying, by the way, like I'm not saying, oh, natty right now. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I do think that we're back to being a respectable, competent, threatening program. And Nick De La Torre with Florida Victorious just tweeted that the Gators officially add Eric Singleton, who had as high as a second-round NFL draft grade to their roster. I mean, if this isn't the Florida Gators actually showing competence and actually showing a want to, and actually showing that when they're ready, when they're going, they can actually make big moves. Like, this is the thing we spoke about, weeks and weeks ago on Locked On Gators, right? We spoke about it weeks ago that, hey, if Eric Singleton enters the portal, you got to go after him and you got to pursue him heavily, right? They did. At first he declared for the draft, and what did we say? It's 12:30, middle of the night. At first he declared for the draft, and what do we say here? Was that, hey, that doesn't mean it's over. Okay, guys declare for the draft and come back to school all the time. So he declared for the draft, and we said that doesn't mean it's over. The insider program, you got told things weren't done with a big name, right? That's it. Then he accepted an invite to the Senior Bowl. And what did we say here on Locked On Gators? That does not mean that it's over. Players accept invites to the Senior Bowl and return to school all the time. Eric Singleton is one of, I want to say now, 4 players that have accepted an invite to the Senior Bowl and then said, you know what? I'd rather go to Gainesville. That's what he's done. Sumrall might be watching your show because he's listening to you. You know what it is? I'm not gonna do that thing where I'm gonna go, oh yeah, like with Billy, I would jokingly say it. I knew that they had people on the staff that would watch it, but I'm not saying that they're taking anything that I would say and doing it, because they didn't. But I will say, which by the way, Keon Coleman, Cassius Howell, there were plenty of opportunities, right? Say Dutro is still a name that I like. But I will say that maybe the reason this coaching staff is doing things that I've said I would like them to do, go after Eric Singleton in the transfer portal, go after DJ Coleman in the transfer portal, go after a guy like Cam Dooley in the transfer portal, go after Adam Trick, who ended up not committing, but Florida did get him on campus for a visit. Maybe the reason that they're doing that is because my suggestions are that of a competent football analyst, competent football mind, and we finally have a competent football mind leading the Florida Gators program once again. That's it. Matt Service, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, watch for Ohio State defensive lineman Jarquez Carter. He might be a Gator next. Yeah, he's from right down the road from the University of Florida. So maybe, Florida Gators stepping though, right? Like that's what we get to see in Gainesville right now, is a serious football program. And again, I'm not doing the thing of saying like, oh, we're back natty this year or anything like that. I am doing the thing though of saying we're back to competence. Because the thing with me and Jon Sumrall was, I know he's a good coach on the field on Saturdays. I know that. That's not a question for me. That was clear. Again, you can go back. First off, we've blown up view-wise, subscriber-wise, listen-wise, everything-wise during the past 3 months, right? Double Gator, he's already committed to Georgia. But look at Brent Hug. It's just crazy that no one loves him, right? No one loves him. No one's ever loved him. No one ever will love him. Sucks, right? Eyes get darker, because we're burning the midnight oil. Give you the best coverage possible about the Florida Gators. We've blown up recently, and that's been awesome, right? And I cannot thank you all enough for it. To answer the question of, I don't know how to handle this hype reasonably. You don't. couple important things. One, talking about Jon Sumrall like I was before I was rudely interrupted, was that the day Billy Napier got fired, we came on this show and live, Jon Sumrall was a name that I said Florida Gators should go after, right? Or Florida, like he'd be on my list. If I were in charge of that, he'd be on my list. So we talked about that. I get to say, hey, I didn't throw the fit when he was getting hired. I get to do that. That's a fun thing. I'm gonna pat myself on the back because everybody now is all hyped about it. I get to say the day Napier was fired, I talked about it. It's a good time. And when Sumrall eventually got hired, I said, hey, I don't know if he's going to work here. Okay. I don't know if he's going to pan out. Asking about John Walker, he's already at Ohio State. So I said, I don't know if Jon Sumrall was gonna pan out here, right? We don't know how he's gonna recruit at the SEC level. We don't know how he's gonna use the portal at the SEC level. But I do know he's a damn good football coach. And it turns out the way that he's going to use the portal at the SEC level is to kick ass the entire time. It feels good. It does. It feels really good. Just frankly, just to be a Florida Gators fan and seeing competence, it feels really good. Do me a favor, everybody, hit that like button, subscribe, comment, do whatever it is that you want to do. We are going to talk more about the addition of Eric Singleton to the Florida Gators and how we're witnessing legitimate competence in Gainesville right now. And that has been few and far between in recent years. We'll talk about all that when we get back with Locked On Gators. The wild card round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day, including today. During the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. So each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets that you like the most. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Thanks again for being Locked On Gators, your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. And sometimes we're available even more, right? Because sometimes you get a bunch, right? You get a bunch. Michael said, okay, Brandon, you're right about most things Gator related. Calm down. No one else in the chat is saying anything else. No, I'm just saying, like, I think Jon Sumrall, I hope Jon Sumrall is a learning lesson for a lot of people to go, hey, maybe if you don't know about someone, don't just bash them. Just let them show you, right? And again, I'm someone who I was like, hey, I got to see it. I got to wait. I know he's a good on-field coach. I got to see how you're going to run. Like, again, I liked him. He, like I said, he would have been on my list. But I was still skeptical when he got hired because you should be skeptical. But my goodness, if he hasn't come out and just knocked everything out of the park so far. And again, I'm not saying it's not just Jon Sumrall. I am saying give credit to the front office, right? Give credit to the boosters. Because what Florida is doing right now is stepping to a level that we have not seen in a very long time in Gainesville. The Florida Gators are not playing around. They are not trying to watch their rivals do great anymore without them doing great. We've seen Georgia win natties. We've seen Florida State go 13-1. We're watching Miami play in the national championship game. And finally, the Florida Gators are going, you know what? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Appreciate you, Josh. Love you. Love you all. Genuinely. Like, again, I'm going to take a second to just say, like, the fact that I get to do this for a job is not lost on me. The fact that I get to do this on job or as a job is the stupidest thing on the planet in the best way. the best way. Not stupid as in dumb. Stupid as in just dumb. Like you get what I'm saying? We get that. It's crazy. Is Sumrall getting the same money pledge that Lane was promised? Seems like it. I don't like to speak definitively about money on stuff like that. Is Singleton going to be wide receiver 1? That's a great question, right? Because the Florida Gators are now in a very interesting spot where they have talented young receivers from the 2025 season that, frankly, are not necessarily fully proven, right? Like we've seen Vernell Brown III be really good over the course of a 10-game season because he didn't play in 12 games. So we've seen him be really good over the course of a 10-game season. We saw him make plays against LSU. We saw him make an insane catch against, was it Long Island? Brandon, thanks for keeping all of us posted. Absolutely. It's an honor. It's an honor. Absolute honor to cover the Florida Gators and get to do this live. Gator boys stay hot, right? So we've seen Vernell Brown III play some fantastic games, but we haven't seen him do it, multiple seasons in a row. Okay. We've seen Dallas Wilson he's played in 4 games. He had 3 touchdowns in those games. And one of them, he got hurt on his first catch. So we've really seen him play 3.5 games. And in those 3.5 games, he's had 12 catches for 174 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like we've seen Dallas Wilson be great in a very, very small sample size. But what the Florida Gators did by adding Eric Singleton is that you added someone who, over the past 3 years, has 162 catches, 2,002 yards, and 12 touchdowns. I don't know if you call Eric Singleton wide receiver 1. I do know that you call him your most proven talented commodity in the wide receiver room because he is. And that's not a knock on VB3 or Dallas Wilson. That's just saying he's the proven guy. He's the guy that, with Buster Faulkner as his offensive coordinator, I'm going to try to do the math off the top of my head, so I apologize if it's slightly off. But Eric Singleton is the guy that, with Buster Faulkner as his offensive coordinator, had 104 catches for 1,568 yards and 9 touchdowns. Do you know his yak? Yeah. In his career, he's got 2,002 receiving yards. 833 of them came after the catch. He's got 5.1 yards after the catch per catch. Okay. So that's his yak. Drop percentage of 6.4 is pretty damn good. He's got 15 missed tackles last year. His missed tackle numbers were lower at Georgia Tech because he was actually playing receiver. That's the best way to explain it. In 2025 at Auburn, I've spoken about this being my gripe with Auburn taking him and being as incompetent as they are, because that's what Auburn's coaching staff was incompetent. Is that when Eric Singleton was at Georgia Tech and putting up those, what were the numbers? Bro, you're a words guy, not a numbers guy. Leave that to the science nerds. It's funny, Michael. Like, I can talk about stats and people are your stat guy. I can write about film and talk about film and do all that, and people go, "Oh, you're the film guy." And it's just like, or I'm just, frankly, not to toot my own horn, I'm just good. Jon Sumrall, good. But when Eric Singleton was at Georgia Tech with Buster Faulkner as his offensive coordinator, when he had those 108 catches, when he had those 1,500 yards, almost 1,600 yards, when he had those 9 touchdowns, he was playing outside and being a vertical threat. And Auburn, as incompetent as they are, what was it? Was it Family Guy with the team called the Incompetent Ninnies? Is that what it was? I think that's what it was. But then Auburn said, "Oh, that guy that's really dynamic on the outside. What if we took him and we put him in the slot and then we threw it to him short all the time? Would that be a good idea?" Like, there's a reason Hugh Freeze is fired. There is, because of the horrible misusage of Eric Singleton is part of it, right? It's not like it's like, "Oh, you sucked at using him, so that's why you got fired." It's that you don't know how to use talent. Buster Faulkner knows how to use talent. There's a fire emoji. As long as someone asked for it. Michael asked for it. What's up? I don't like. I'm gonna say TD. I don't like to say your name. I don't want to air out your name. Also, when Big John got hired, we talked about, let's see who he hired as OC and DC and other coaches, and I'd say kick serious ass. And that was before knocking out of the portal park. Jay Blackburn. I think the reason is that you don't understand everybody's situations right now. I think that's it. Also, the mic that I have is literally one that's recommended by Locked On to do this. So I don't know what to tell you, man. It's literally one that's recommended by him. But I get it. I understand. But yeah, well, yeah. Trey Wilson, who we just upgraded, of course. Absolutely. Yeah, the Florida Gators got a hell of a lot better by adding Eric Singleton today. And it's crazy because, like, there was already go ahead, Blackburn. Go ahead. The Florida Gators already had a very talented skill position room, right? I say skill position because I'm also including the running back room, which has Jaden Ball coming back. And also added Evan Pryor, who's fast as hell. London Montgomery, who's got a lot of skill and space. You've got now Duke Clark likely coming back. I don't know if they've officially announced it yet or if it's still just likely. You've got Byron Byron Lewis. I don't know where Louis came from. But you've got Byron Lewis back. And then in the receiver room, you've got Vernon Brown III. You've got Dallas Wilson. Now you're adding Eric Singleton, who's, again, already your most proven wide receiver in the room. Yeah, talent. And that's at the top. That's just at the top of the receiver room. You've got talent. You got talent coming in. And, man, again, like, it just feels crazy. Like looking at, and I'm not going to pretend, which, by the way, I'm going to say this now while we've got 311 people in here. I'm going to say this while we got 311 people in here. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that. If you want written scouting reports, they're going to start coming out either tomorrow or Monday on swampsignal.substack.com about portal players. So really looking forward to that. You're too close to France, saying Louis. Yeah, it's like I'm telling you, the European vibes, they're just flowing through me right now. But looking at the Florida Gators 2026 schedule, which we're going to do briefly here, but there are a good bit of winnable games on this schedule, right? There's a lot of players that, or a lot of teams that have a lot of roster turnover right now, coaching turnover. I do think it's fair to go like, oh yeah, like 8 wins. I think that's very fair. Beans on toast. I would never. That's one thing. I'm here. I would never. But that's Florida Gators have a manageable schedule that I think 8 wins is fair to go like, all right, well, maybe that should be the expectation at this point, right? Still got to see how things come together. You still need to fill out depth, of course, but I think one of the things that I like is like adding a guy like Eric Singleton is not the same as adding any other portal receiver, right? Adding Eric Singleton, adding Bailey Stockton is not the same as if Florida went out and added a guy like, I'm trying to think of like another portal receiver that wouldn't fit, because we can't say Cam Coleman either, right? Because at Auburn, we have the wide receiver coach at Auburn last year, so I can't even say like, oh, going to get a Cam Coleman. But for Florida, you're adding guys who you know how to use. There's less projection here, right? Like, it's not like we're adding, I don't know, Nick Marsh. from Michigan State. It's not like we're doing that. It's not like we're adding someone who has no experience with this coaching staff. No, we're adding Eric Singleton, who has 2 years with Buster Faulkner. We're adding Bailey Stockton, who has years with Faulkner, and Aaron Philo. Like, Instagram, Jay Blackburn, just Locked On Gators on Instagram. We're adding someone who we know is talented, has production and film to back it up. You can Discord's fine too. So we're adding guys with proven talent, proven production, and know how to fit in the offense. Like that's a huge thing for me, at least. Is that we're not talking about adding guys and then going, well, how do they fit? That's not what you have to do. Buster Faulkner knows how to use them. Buster Faulkner's here. Buster Faulkner has used them before. And we get to talk about that. What positions are left to target in the portal? I still think they're going to add another receiver, just like a lower on the depth chart receiver. I still think that I see your follow request or your follow. So I still see that. I still see that I'm probably still tight end, right? I would personally still go for another offensive tackle. I just don't know if they do that. Defensively, I still think you need a nose tackle. I still think you need corner help. And then everywhere else, I kind of go, all right, rotation or depth, just add more, just get better. And Florida is just kicking ass right now. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate you. More likes. Yeah, we're killing. We're having a damn good time. Like, we're having an awesome time here. I think that what we're watching right now is the Florida Gators are serious again. And I'm not even talking about this from just from a covering the team. Okay, Matt Service, 1 second. Super Chat said, we will run 3 wide, 11 personnel. So we got Dallas Wilson, Vernon Brown, and Singleton all on the same field at the same time with the best running back in the country. Think about all that. Think about that. Scary. You know what? I think you're also going to see 10 personnel. I do. I think that some of the receivers that you added, like a Bailey Stockton, you go, we can go 10 personnel and have 4 receivers on the field and be really fun and really hard to guard. Oh, and then by the way, we can come out next dead ball when we change. We could say, hey, 12 personnel. Like, I think that's part of it, is that Buster Faulkner is trying to be really multiple with this offense. And I love it. I love just saying, hey, we're getting a ton. Craig, you are not wrong at all. Right? Games are won and lost on the line of scrimmage. I think you can tell that Jon Sumrall obviously knows that. Everybody knows that. But I think you can tell by the way that Jon Sumrall built this staff, right? Because where did Jon Sumrall go for the bigger, more proven names? He got hired, right? And he went, okay, I'm going to go get a guy that's been an SEC defensive coordinator for 6 years and has had good defenses every year. Do not tell me anything about their rank in the 70s in certain things, and I don't care, because Florida was ranked in the 60s defensively this year, and we know that there aren't 60 defenses better than what Florida had in 2025. All right. Hey, Stephanie, I know you're happy about this, right? Speaking of trenches, I know you're happy to see some talent added. We're serious here. We're kicking ass. Florida Gators ready to go. But think about where Jon Sumrall was serious with his hires, right? It's that he got hired. He said, hey, I'm going to go get a proven SEC defensive coordinator that's been here for 6 years. Good defenses. I don't care about where they're ranked. Watch them. Like watch them play. Because, again, Florida's defense was in the 60s last year. That there were not 60 defenses better than them. Offense shoots you in the foot. Defense is going to look bad. So he said, hey, I'm going to go get Brad White, proven SEC defensive coordinator. Offensively, what am I going to do? Go get Buster Faulkner, one of the hottest offensive coordinator names in the country, if not the hottest offensive coordinator name in the country. Check. Then he went, okay, where are games won and lost? Trenches. Defensive line coach, we're going to keep Gerald Chapman, one of the best defensive line coaches in the country. Offensive side of the ball, we're going to go get Phil Troutwine, former Florida Gator, great offensive line coach, one of the better ones in the country, in my opinion, at least, and saying, we're going to go win coordinators, the guys that call the plays, and trenches. That's what Jon Sumrall did. So yes, games are won and lost in the trenches. There are 2 coaches on this staff where I say, and everybody knows, like, everybody, like I will be clear about this. All right, I have a very high opinion of myself. Right, I have no problem with that. I have a lot of confidence in my opinion. That's part of my job, right? To evaluate, analyze, give opinions. I'm not a reporter. I'm analyzing. There are two positions where I say I don't care necessarily about my opinion. I also have my opinion, but I will trust their opinion more. And it's offensive line coach with Phil Troutwine and defensive line coach with Gerald Chapman. So we could feel how we feel about this. I'm going to let them do work because they're proven high quality coaches. Like Phil Troutwine can say, hey, I'm going to go get these guys because I think I can work with them. Then you go get them and you go work with them. Gerald Chapman says, hey, I'm going to go get these guys because we can work with them. Then you go get them and you go work with them. And I'm going to put faith in those two guys. Any other coach, I have no problem saying that's a bad take, good take, whatever it is. I don't like it. And I will stand firm on those. But those two coaches, Trout's got it, man. Trout's got it. Like, and I agree with you, right? Football is won and lost in the trenches. We can feel how we feel about stuff. But I think those two coaches just earn the benefit of the doubt, basically. I think those two coaches, you say, yeah, I'll shut the hell up. It's all you. You got it. It's wild. Florida Gators are serious again. Right? Florida Gators are serious. Got some damn good recruits coming in. Got a damn good portal class set up. I tell you, this is going to be a few year process. This is winners win. I'm a winner. We're going to win. And the Florida Gators are serious about football again. The bagmen, NIL guys, serious about football again. Boosters, whatever the hell you want to go with them. Serious about football again. And it just feels good to be back. Again, like I said, like I'm not even talking about this as someone that gets to cover the team. I'm talking about this strictly as a fan. That's it. Like people, I'm a Florida Gators fan and a New York Giants fan, and I cover both teams professionally. And so like I have to watch everything, right? Giants, I'm not gonna lie, if I didn't cover the Giants, I'd probably check out at some points in the season because they're just terrible. But every Saturday, I'm gonna sit my ass down. I stand actually during most games, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be watching every Florida Gator snap every year. And it just feels good as a fan to once again look at this team and say they're serious about football again. Like I know they've got a good coach. I do. Again, being a good coach does not mean that it's going to work out always, right? But what I am, we got Nikki Bella in here. Look at that. Go ahead. But so I'm going to say, like, I know we have a good coach on the field. What they're doing off the field right now is what makes me think like, oh, they're really genuinely serious about this. You get these things figured out, it's going to be damn fun to be a Florida Gators fan again. Really is. I can't wait. I'm glad that I don't have to say anymore, if coaching catches up to the talent, then we're going to be good, right? Like I don't have to say that anymore. Last year, what did I say? All off season, I was sitting here going, "Oh, if coaching catches up to the talent, then the Florida Gators are going to be in the playoff." Coaching did not catch up to the talent. Now, coaching might have caught up to the talent. And I will leave you with this by saying, like, we know last year's roster is talented because a bunch of them that transferred out still went to the SEC, still went to Power 4. We know that they were talented. Because we've seen a bunch of Napier guys, or a bunch of guys during the Napier era, I'll say, because the guys that left were obviously Napier guys. But we saw a bunch of guys that left during the Napier era leave and then go G5. That didn't happen this time. There's quality talent on this roster last year. Coaching failed them. I have no doubt in my mind that coaching will not fail them on the field this year. My concerns or my questions, my skepticism was around how they handled the offseason. How they handled hiring, firing, how they handled roster retention, how they handled portal. And so far, I will say coaching, there were some questionable ones for me, right? Some that I'm still skeptical of, but not at the ones that matter most, right? Not at the coordinators, not in the trenches. So not worried about those. Not too worried about QB coaching because Buster Faulkner will also be a significant part in that, I would imagine. But retention, they nailed it. They retained the top players that they needed to retain. And then the portal, they've gone, hey, not only are we going to add quality depth, quality rotational players, but we're going to go out there and be the big steppers that we are and go get some guys like Eric Singleton. Why? Because we can. And I love it. It feels so damn good to be a Florida Gators fan again. We got competency. Let's go win some damn football games, right? Let's go win some football games. The Florida Gators, back to relevance, back to competency, back to genuinely being competitive and showing where you belong and showing where you should be as the Florida Gators. Logo holds weight on its own. Now you win some games, you can't be stopped. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever in the podcast and on YouTube. I am Brandon Olsen, lifelong Florida Gators fan, and it feels so good to be back. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. Again, the fact that I get to do this for a job is just ridiculous to me. I love it, and I'm so happy that we got a good football team to cover again. I can't wait. You want to find all my written work, go to New York Giants on SI if you're a sicko, and go to swampsignal.substack.com if you want my written work. We're going to have scouting reports of the portal players and of the high school class, and we're just going to be great, man. So thank you. Let's have a great 2026. Let's kick some ass. Let's win, right? And I'll see you all next time.